Welcome. The topic for this session is man, know yourself. Man, know yourself is actually the greatest injunction that can be handed down to man. And it has been in place for thousands of years. So, man, know yourself, or man, know thyself is so important that man should begin to look at himself or herself again, look at him or herself all over again. Because man is composed of the inner and the outer. Man is composed of the aspect inside of Eden and the aspect outside Eden. So man is not just earth. Man is just not earth. Man is not just physical and material. Man is also divine. Man is also natural and divine. Because the natural and divine is the opposite of the artificial and the superficial. Or the aspect of man relating to the human heart is opposite of the aspect relating to the human mind. So the human heart aspect is the higher aspect of human aspect called Maat, M-A-A-T, in ancient Egypt, in ancient Africa. While the other aspect, the lower aspect, the human mind aspect, is referred to as Israel in ancient Egypt, ancient Africa. So Africa was in power all over the world about 5,000 years ago. But from 5,000 years ago, that's 5,105 years, up to 2012, Africa was down. Africa was brought down. And Africa continued to go down because the whole world, particularly Europe, was against Africa and brought Africa down. Africa is actually the cradle of human life on earth. Africa is the cradle of anything human, everything human life on earth. Africa is the cradle, the root, the most important aspect. But with Africa, with the reign of Africa outside, away from control, from suzerainty. So, the human heart aspect, the super civilization aspect of human life on earth was displayed. And the civilization aspect, the religion and science aspect took over. And the religion and science aspect is from Europe, it's not from Africa. The African aspect is the integrated aspect of human life on earth. It deals with that which is reality, that which is real, that which is super civilization, that which is super universe above. So with that gone, and Africa was really dealt with 5,105 years ago, up to 2012, Africa remained down, and all, particularly Europe, came into Africa and looted Africa and raped Africa and destroyed Africa, took over everything. In fact, they even wrote in their books, the thing they call the great book in the world, they wrote that Africa, Egypt is bad. But if you go to Egypt, even today, you see that the Europeans are the people there. They have, deceived Africa. They have tricked Africa away from Africa. So they go to Egypt. They live there. All everything in Egypt is about. If you go there, you don't see black there. It is the whites that are there digging and digging and digging and looting, taking away everything beautiful from Africa. Even before now, it was sold all over Africa, even up to Benin, Nigeria. Benin was a great empire, a powerful empire. They moved away all the good things in Benin and moved them abroad. So all the centers of all the superpowers in the world, if you go to the museum, they have everything from Africa. If you go to the Vatican, you see what was stolen from the library, the first library in ancient Egypt that fell. They brought it down. They trickishly took away all the good things there and then burned down the building. But all the things that the part of that library are there, locked up in the Vatican. And that's how it is all over the world. Africa was just brought down and raped, enslaved. Everything was done. That's why if you go to all over the world now, you see Africa in every part of the world because they were moved away from Africa, enslaved. Apart from the greatest of Africa, they still moved away everything. They looted Africa for 5,105 years up to 2005 when that era ended. So that is the position. So when we talk about man know thyself, we are saying man, understand who you are. Try and look at what you are. Because what a human being is really missing now. Because a human being is, I repeat, the human heart section and the human mind section. of human life on earth. So the human heart section is the section that is higher, that is inside, within. While the human mind aspect is the aspect that is lower, the aspect that deals with the human mind with 1 to 9.9% of the brain only, unlike the higher aspect, the human heart aspect, that deals with 10 to 99.9% of the brain. So right now, the human life on earth, everything is low and everything is down because the human mind aspect has been, forced on Africa. It has been pushed down the throat of Africa. And Africa is now operating the human mind aspect, which it doesn't understand. Africa doesn't understand the human mind aspect of human life on earth. It doesn't understand that the human mind aspect of human life on earth is the lower aspect, is the aspect outside of Eden, man and woman standing outside of Eden, which is what is there in all the books on earth, even the greatest books on earth. They talk about man and woman standing outside of Eden. Nobody talks about man and woman inside Eden, man and woman integrated inside Eden. They talk about man and woman or Adam and Eve standing outside of Eden, which is disintegration, which is disunification. So even when Albert Einstein tried to get a theory out about unification and all that, he couldn't do that. And when I read that, I just laughed. I said, how can you talk about unification, talking about theory? When you go deal with unification, you don't deal with theory. Because theory is something that is superficial, something that is a map and a scanner. So that is about the human mind. So the human mind cannot talk about unification, cannot talk about integration. Integration can only be handled by the human heart aspect of human life on earth. And that's why Einstein and even physics up to now keep doing it. And they cannot find it because they are outside of the superior aspect of human life on earth, which is 10 to 99.9% of the brain, which I refer to as the silver called human heart brainology. So they are dealing with what I refer to as the spinal cord human mind brainology, which is lower, which is low. So that there you have problems, struggles, and struggles. But the other aspect of human life, which is higher, is about opportunities and about solutions. So that is just how human life is. So man know that means that man should go back or should go inward, inner, inmost, and upmost, and examine himself again. Examine himself and know that this inner aspect is higher than the outer aspect. The inner aspect is the divine aspect, the natural aspect, the aspect that is dealing with unification and integration. So that is what we are talking about. So man know thyself or man know yourself is actually the greatest advice, the greatest injunction that can be handed out to anybody. I thank you very much for listening.